Hi, I'm Ryan Creelan, Commissioner of the ECHL, premier AA hockey league in North America with 27 teams in the US and Canada. I've been with the league for 16 years now, starting as an intern and working my way up to commissioner. Let's get started with the questions. So in the ECHL's case, our league is a 501c6 member nonprofit organization. Other hockey leagues and professional sports leagues are set up this way. There could be other mechanisms in which you set up as well. You could be a straight for-profit entity. You could be a single member entity. There are a number of different ways to set up, but particularly for us, we are a 501c6 nonprofit member organization. We also have ECHL Properties, which is our for-profit division, which focuses on licensing revenues and sponsorships and partnerships. In terms of regulating our activities, the league itself sets its rules, both bylaws for off-ice and our rule book for on-ice. We certainly share information among other professional and amateur leagues throughout North America. There is the IIHF, which governs hockey internationally. We don't adopt all of their on-ice rules, but there's certainly similarities among the leagues. In terms of funding mechanisms, depending on how a league is set up, you could be professional, you could be amateur. Teams raise money through ticket sales and sponsorship sales, merchandise. There are a few other revenue streams. The league themselves, we're funded by dues paid by each of our member teams. But again, there are a number of different ways that can be structured. Well, there are a number of different ways that a hockey ecosystem can develop, and we've seen it in our league develop in multiple directions. It could start with a professional team coming to town. There could be private public money to fund an arena and then a professional team coming in. Once there's excitement around a professional team, you could see the youth hockey develop and grassroots programs put in place to help grow the fan base for the long term. On the flip side, there could be a youth hockey program already established in a marketplace, creating a large number of players, creating a built-in fan base, and that could ultimately attract a professional team because there's such a large fan base there. So it could go in either direction, large city, small city, but ultimately it's about growing the fan base and interest in the sport. Well, certainly on the ice, we've used technology to our advantage. Every piece of the game is broken down from an analytics standpoint and broken down into databases that's tied to video. All of that analytics are reviewed by hockey operations and to affect gameplay. We also use it from a player safety standpoint at the league office to review dangerous plays, help educate on future players to take the dangerous plays out of the game. Really, the data is available to us in real time, which is amazing. Certainly going back 10, 20 years ago, may not have been as readily available or taken months to put together. So as technology improves, we're using it to our advantage to make decisions in real time. Off the ice, same thing in terms of our business and using technology, certainly to sell tickets, mobile tickets, social media, able to share our video clips in real time, quickly, direct to folks' mobile phones. So again, as technology improves, we're going to continue to embrace it both on and off the ice. Hockey organizations, I suppose, could be measured in two ways. Certainly on the ice, with their on-ice performance, winning percentage, winning championships. When it comes to athletics, I think that's the ultimate goal and how fans will view a team's performance, with their winning percentage and their ability to capture championships. But off the ice, it's measured by their fan base, the ability to attract a large audience. That certainly helps boost revenue. It brings in sponsors as well. All of our revenue streams are really predicated on having butts in seats. And so I think a team's off-ice performance is measured by how well they build and grow their fan base for their long-term sustainability. Yeah, I believe hockey continues to grow in the United States, certainly working with USA Hockey and their numbers. We're seeing growth in the sport. They've done a great job through their Learn to Play programs and getting kids involved in hockey to help bolster those numbers. And I think it's reflecting too, it's a long-term play, but when you start to see players drafted in the NHL draft that are coming from non-traditional hockey markets in the US, Arizona, California, Florida, that's proof that hockey is growing in the US. Now, it's a little different in Canada because there's such a deep, rich history of the sport in that country. It's embedded into their culture. So lots of players continue to come out of Canada, but I think in both countries we continue to see growth. And I think that's built around the exposure to the game. It's becoming more available, more affordable, and because of its fast-paced environment, people are naturally drawn to it. Yeah, I don't know if hockey is a substitute for war, but athletics in general have always been an outlet for people to escape and to take national pride. I think you see that with the Olympics as it relates to hockey. The players are very passionate about wanting to be involved in the Olympics and represent their country. And I can tell here in North America, it certainly draws in the masses to watch that as your respective U.S. or Canadian team takes on the world. So I do think it does present some of that relief and national pride. In terms of political function, again, I don't know how in depth that gets, but athletes and the notoriety that comes with it, certainly more now than ever, are using their notoriety for social issues to help press diversity and inclusion, not just in hockey, but in all sports. And so I don't know if you would say that's a political function, but certainly a social function. And I think hockey plays a huge role in that. Well, when it comes to, I suppose, other digital entertainment, movies, video games, they're certainly more available now. You hear kids are glued to the screens. So there's certainly competition for kids' entertainment time. But when they get involved in sports and the athleticism and the teamwork of it, I think there's a big opportunity for hockey. As I mentioned previously, it's becoming more affordable, more available. And I think because of the fast paced environment and with, I suppose, attention spans being at a minimum these days, hockey is one of the sports that's best positioned for the long term. There's a lot of excitement, it's a fast paced environment, and that captures people's attention and young kids' attention. And I think that sets up well for hockey. We're still going to have to compete with the video games, no question. But there's something to be said for moving around an athletic sport. And to me, hockey's at the top of the list. Well, I think one of the biggest changes that hockey's making is a dedicated outreach to diverse populations to get more folks involved in hockey. The Hockey is for Everyone movement with the NHL and the ECHL is certainly involved in that, has had a targeted focus to get more folks involved in hockey. The Learn to Play program, making it more affordable and just trying to get more exposure to the game. I believe once folks are exposed to hockey, and we've even seen this in the crowd, folks that aren't familiar with the game, but they just fall in love with the environment and the camaraderie of being a fan. But it's all about inviting people to come out and taste the game. And once they do that, we believe we can turn them into fans for the long term. We're going to need to continue to look at the game, keep it fast paced. That's what makes it so exciting. So there will be rule changes, but there's been rule changes for the past 100 years. There'll be rule changes for the next 100 years. I think the core of the game has a solid foundation, and we'll just continue to adapt to make it faster and more exciting.